maybe not for long. Last time we spent 12 years building up a base. We achieved actually quite a lot, to be fair. We've managed to make it so that the different interest groups are fairly even. We've taken a lot of power away from the officials who had complete control. We're able now to push through some spicier reforms and maybe actually unlock some damn institutions. One that I'm particularly interested in is taxation to make more money and education, because the people currently don't even have school. We're going to need to do a little bit more research before we can push through things like that. Abolishing serfdom, however, would be massive. Absolutely massive. Having serfdom enabled is giving 50% extra power to the landowners. See you later, chief. What's interesting here is that I just have the intelligentsia in power. If you're watching this later down the line, maybe after future patches have come out, this won't be possible. In future, legitimacy will have to be at least 25% to even pass a law. But at the moment, in this version of the game, I am able to do this. Is it cheesy? Yes, it is. And it will also take 1,624 days to pass this. So even though it's possible, it's basically impossible. What we'll then need to do is bring in someone extra to add legitimacy to the government. Watch, however, what that will actually do. Oh no! They're plotting revolution! This has really spiraled out of control rather quickly, hasn't it? Jeez, we've only just freaking started. Radicalism, extreme from me trying to push through this change. Let's quickly sweep that under the rug and pretend like that didn't happen. And try and woo them over. Or not woo them over. Let's just try and loosen the state religious grip. But not completely. Maybe just a freedom of conscience. The armed forces won't like it. The religious group won't like it. It'll radicalize a lot of people. It's really difficult to try and push through change without cracking a few eggs, though, isn't it? What would actually appeal much more to the people was if we gave some of them the right to vote. We have a lot of spare authority, so let's try and shift towards a different voting system. Landed voting won't even radicalize anybody. It'll just literally make people happy. So let's push through landed voting instead. That seems to have calmed everybody down. I was like, all right, fine. I'll just let you vote instead. And they were like, okay. So that's a good start. Oh my god. This is the problem with being part of a puppeted, massive market. And I have no way to stabilize it because we don't have any domestic control or any ability to produce it domestically. That is really rough, actually. By sliding the landowners back into government, we can now actually push this through in, not like 4 or 5 years. So we'll slide them back in and we'll sneak some landed voting into the mix. I like that. That's good. Balancing this is just going to forever be an issue, effectively. We'll start building some tools. We've got empiricism, which is great. We need to try and get our research facilities unlocked too. There's a few things to build. In line with that, and the fact that we're making so much money, probably a good idea to scale up the construction sector a bit here as well. Hey, good news on the global ranking front. We're actually increasing, despite not actually building anything. We're still, of course, the subject of the Great Qing. We'll have to try and balance that out eventually. For the time being, though, we'll continue to build up our own unique identity. A couple of neat events by the looks. Firstly, sins of the past. Okay. Power corrupts. 20% chance, not bad. Or 10% chance, and we don't lose popularity. Interest group. One of them I like, one I don't. We'll just ignore that. And then breeding and education. This one again. I think we'll just push the landowners down even further. It's not necessarily that I want the intelligentsia to take the reins. I just don't want the landowners to have it forever. Zooming over this side of the world, I'm not even sure if these players are active. Like, am I in a game by myself? What are these guys doing? Oh, Texas has happened. Okay. Good. Kind of. Question mark? Ah, nice. Nice one, Mexico. You did good. And the US have colonized their territories. Hudson Bay Company has consolidated power in Canada. East India Company sort of doing the same. But apart from that, surprisingly not a lot. Like, look, there's even relative stability over here. What a strange world when I'm not mucking about with it. The price of iron continues to soar in our economy, so we'll import some more of that. Paper has always been a problem. Again, I think probably fixing our domestic supply is a better idea. So we'll slam a couple more paper factories down in the queue. And what are we left with? Tools. You're a tool. And yeah, we were starting to get on top of demand, and then we surged it again. These are too expensive, so let's get some Russian tools in here. And we now have landed voting, which is bad for my authority, but good for everything else. We can recoup some authority by just scrapping one of these crappy taxes. That's right, people. You can have your porcelain back. Congrats. Neat. And we'll ditch all these stupid-ass trade routes that aren't seemingly doing a whole lot for me. Taxation capacity is a problem, but everything else, actually, probably all right. One thing that, of course, we will need more of is an army. Our regulars aren't going to cut it. We can continue to upgrade them. Let's give them mobile artillery. That is great. But of course, we'll actually need to build some barracks. We should start where our construction is high. I'll start with an extra 10 after we're finished building everything else. Probably getting a couple of naval bases online would be a good idea as well. I'm going to crank, for now, 6 into the capital territory, and we'll see what kind of impact that has on the economy and just sort of balance it out as we move through. At the moment, though, it's looking all good. We've had an election for the first time, and the Conservative Party's won 1.16 million votes. The Liberals, considerably less. Okay. As a legitimate, quote-unquote, government, should we put both parties in together? I don't know. Let's see. We've got the armed forces and the PBs wanting to join the Conservative Party as well as the monks. And no one wants to join the Liberal Party. Yike. I think we should actually probably just leave this as is. If we put any of these other... Oh, hold on. Industrialists. Hey, you want to come in? It will actually increase the legitimacy. It will allow these two to party up. Because as I was saying, my understanding from my playthroughs, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but as I understand it, we need to have groups who want to join a party in the same slot. So they either have to be in the government slot or in the opposition slot. If they're there together, they will join. If they're separated, they won't. So we're going to leave these guys in power so that they can't form a stronger Conservative Party and allow the Liberals to merge up and roughly equate to them. We could boot them out. Ugh. We can't actually confirm this because the game won't let me do it. No, it's too clever. It knows. Okay. So I can either put the Liberals in or I can put the Conservatives in. The Conservatives clearly have a massive majority. But I kind of want the two groups to be at least on even footing. So for the time being, I'm going to try and do a cheeky this. Oh. At the moment, they only have 33.6% of the vote, but come next election, I think they're going to have a lot more, which means that I should probably target either monarchy or serfdom, because that is boosting up their vote. Look at that, 25% from monarchy, 50% from serfdom. Now, we know what happened last time with serfdom. We could look at monarchy, though. Let's see. Turn it into a presidential republic. It'll infuriate people like there's no tomorrow. However, it will actually only radicalize one group. And we might be able to bring them back on side a little bit. Let's see what happens if we try and push through a presidential republic. Revolution is brewing. Will it get to full, though? I doubt it. 50%, 60%, 70%. 80%, 90%. Yeah, so its support is actually at 116. So I could call off this right now. Or we could just go through a revolution. I've actually never done that. I always avoid the revolution. You know what? Viva la revolution! Oh no. Oh. Oh. Big Daddy's stepping in on the revolution. Interesting. What just happened? I was gearing up for revolution, sweating a little bit, and then it just stopped. Why? Hello? Is somebody like waiting around a corner to hit me? Did we win? I think it was kind of a nothing burger. Oh, that's so disappointing. However, on the bright side, it actually seems to have worked out pretty well for us. We're now going to push through the presidential republic. No trouble. It'll take a little while, of course, because our legitimacy is low. We're looking at around a year. But look at that success chance after their crappy failed revolution. Take that, you nerds. Oh, man. I was actually sweating profusely watching that tick over. I was literally just sitting here silently thinking, what have I done? I've ruined everything. But actually, it worked out really well. Great. All right. Sorry, PB. You're part of those revolutionary folks, and we don't care so much for you these days. So we're going to boot them out. We're also probably going to look at some military technology. I've immediately changed my mind. I think we need some actual production. Let's get the atmospheric engine, which is a great upgrade for our coal and iron and lead, which we're increasingly doing more and more of. I wonder if someone else offered to join the other side or something. I just completely missed the, to be honest, somewhat lackluster notification system. And then the diplomatic play just kind of yeeted away. Let me know if you saw something I didn't in the moment. You may very well have. Oh god, we need more convoys like there's no tomorrow. Oh man. Oh my god. More ports! More! If we have a look at our construction sector, after every single thing in the world happens, we've got crystal glass, neat. We've got... we'll just ditch some industrialist support. We don't really care about that too much. When we look at this, we see an interesting picture. The construction sector isn't massive. I could probably support it to grow even larger, actually, looking at how well we're doing at the moment. So let's do it. I think if we jump to my to my construction queue, it is still fairly full. However, we're starting to crank through our barracks very soon. In fact, by the end of this year, we'll have ports and barracks and all sorts done. Actually, 3 years, but who's counting? While that's happening, I'll try and quickly tweak a few of these inefficiencies. We'll queue up some extra small arms production. At the moment, we're basically just relying on importing them, which is okay for the time being. Artillery as well. Small arms should be able to get on top of that. I might import some Russian ones just for the time being. Don't tell our poor port staff that, though. Oh my god. Oh, and this labyrinth of a system is getting in the way of our presidential republic. Of course, there are a lot of interest in keeping the monarchy. However, they decided to back down from their revolution. So, what have we got? 20% time or 10% time, and bureaucrats hate me. Well, this one doesn't actually affect the success chance, so let's do that. Oh, look. The revolutionaries are being revolutionary again. This time, I think I'm just going to let it happen. Is it over 100? Political movement to preserve monarchy. It's not, actually. It's only at 57. See, if you hover over it, you can see how likely it'll be to actually pass. And now, in this case, it's not going to be all that likely. It is ticking up slowly, though. Look, ticked up to 61, 62. But the progression speed is low, so I don't think it matters. I think we'll just let them throw their toys out of the cot. What are you going to do? Try and fight me again? Okay, so we've got a pretty high chance that it'll be stalled or succeed. A 1 in 3 chance. The threat of revolution continues to sort of simmer and bubble and boil away. It's from these angry interest groups, largely. We should try and bring them on side eventually. However, for now, I'm going to unlock the railroad because I love trains. Oh, I really hope this passes. The chances are dwindling, unfortunately. Ah, it didn't. Crap. Because a public address went awry. Ah! This is going to continue to drive us into the ground trying to push through this presidential republic. I think for the time being, we will call that off. It's just too expensive. We could try and trick them by pushing through a parliamentary republic. No, it's a completely different proposal. It's fine. But I think we'll do what we did last time. Rest on our laurels a little bit. Move instead around the edges, which is absolutely not just flat out abolishing serfdom. Although, this is interesting because here only one group really hates it. And with a 46% chance to pass, thanks to the Liberals having what I hope is still somewhat of a majority. Yeah, look at that. Holy cow. The industrialists, led by this woman, are doing very well. Good to see. What is actually perhaps even more surprising, though, are the Yangban officials down at 5.7%. Sheesh. That's great. In fact, I wonder, we have extra authority. We've just got over 200. So let's suppress them and just really marginalize them, I think. Because at the moment they're angry. It would be nice to have angry groups marginalized, or they're, unhappy. So let's try and do that. Let's just really push them down. We are, of course, potentially lifting the PBs up without increased wages. We could lower those, but for the time being, I'm pretty happy with that. Revolutionary support is completely subsiding now. Monarchy was too much, but getting rid of serfdom, the people don't mind at all. So let's do that and deliver the final blow probably to their interest group as well. I don't think we'll need to be suppressing them for long because serfdom is likely the only thing that's still giving them some kind of power. Who is this man? Rural folk general. Fire him. Okay, we don't have a commander for our army at the moment, which is useful, of course. Nice to have. Also, because they're a political character in the game, they bring some other benefits. Ugh. Not really the group that I wanted to see at the top, though, is it? Let's just ignore that. Come back to that when we need it. We're making far too much money at the moment, so let's lower the taxes on people, which I had upped a little bit. We can afford to burn through this reserve and keep our construction costs high, so I'm going to do just that. If you take a look at the territories, you can see the ones that have construction industries excessively and the ones that don't, right? These two are just losing money like there's no tomorrow. And then the more sort of rural territories are actually making a bit of cash back because they don't have huge construction industries. I'm going to remove our interest from Japan and place it somewhere where we can actually start to not necessarily fight people, although that could be kind of fun, but probably instead maybe trade with people. Where do we want to grab it? Rhine, France, England, potentially Gran Colombia, because then we get... I wonder if this works. I haven't actually tried this before, but of course we have Great Britain and France here. So if we do that, we should then be able to, yes, improve relations. Interesting. With Britain, but not France. Okay. I don't know why that is. Should we improve relations with Venezuela as well? Oh, look. No, look. The whole gang's coming on board. It just took a... What? Why did we just take a huge hit? Was it abolishing serfdom? No! How did this happen? Oh dear. Well, there was a slight unintended consequence. Okay, that is going to require... it's going to require a bit of work. Now, look, we can actually see what's happening in the rest of the world. Oh, brilliant. Okay, let's take a minute to have a quick check-in. So, France versus Bali, going in the French's favour. Couple of undeclareds, couple of unstarteds. The Brits are going ham over here, go you. And the US is fighting Mexico. Neat. Okay, well, it was either slavery or that strategic interest. I can't help but feel that it could have also been the strategic interest. Let's have a look at actually what changed. So government wages went through the freaking roof. Military wages through the roof. Diplomatic pacts, very high. It's being a tribute to the great Qing that is really hurting us, isn't it? Aside from recent fluctuations, damn. Paying 11k to them just to exist. That's such a yike. Also, these government wages have to go down. I'm just going to issue an immediate cut to government wages, an immediate increase to taxation, and that will level this out for the time being until I can get in and fix some of these efficiencies. Look at all those horribly inactive trade routes, likely as a result of our political deviance. The market probably needs a little bit of leveling as well. I mean, God. Let's get some Seek guns. Seek and you shall find. Artillery is going to be needed as well, especially as we start to build up the barracks. So we'll buddy up with our old friends in Britain and get some of that in. What's the last thing? Tools. My God. Queue up some more tools factories. We'll try and increase their efficiency, and we'll support it by importing some British tools. The greatest tools of all, because we can't get American ones in. Oh no! And there's been a political breakup. The Liberals have separated with the Free Trade Party, and that means that the Conservative Party is about to rise to power. Let's have a look through at this on 3 speed. I'm hoping to get some events that will help me, because at the moment, it's not ideal. Have a look at the momentum though, minus 77%. Yike. Big yike. I'm going to upgrade my coal mines and lead mines. We'll get all of these guys the atmospheric pump they so desperately need. And then I think we might want to build railroads and then more military. Yes, we'll build up our base economy as well. Don't worry. But for the time being, I think that's probably a really good idea. Unfortunately, the railroad infrastructure is still locked behind a research paywall, which is really tough. We're going to need engines before we can get that in as well. But I think it's worthwhile pushing for. Let's also have a look at Big Daddy. Big Daddy is currently at war. No. Wrong. However, they're doing a lot. They have us and one other tributary. Should we begin damaging relations? Should we expel their diplomats? Kind of funny, but I think we probably don't want to take any severe action until it's time to move on them. Their diplomacy or their government is a lot like we used to be, which means that it's going to become more and more difficult for the two of us to get along. Election now a few days away, and unfortunately, intelligentsia not looking so hot. Not looking so hot at all. We may see a change in government here. It's the Free Trade Party, and the intelligentsia do still hold the reins, but the legitimacy is weak. The results are in, and it's an overwhelming support for the Conservative Party. Look at that. Look at that. It's the PBs who have just surged. I think we stop suppressing that group. We start suppressing them. I cannot believe how popular they've become. And this is going to be a little bit of an awkward reform, because of course we could remove either of these parties to try and bolster legitimacy of one or the other. But really, it should be the Conservative Party who takes power this time. It's a shame, but the legitimacy is so strong. So strong. Oh. To do it, I'll have to stop suppressing this group, and I don't know if we'll ever get them out of power again. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give us one more electoral cycle with a different political party in control. It looks like neither of these guys want to buddy up with the rural folk, especially. However, it would be nice to have someone different, other than just the intelligentsia. So at the moment, we're seeing a lot of political strength for the aristocrats, the capitalists, the clergymen, and the officers. And this will undoubtedly be helping certain interest groups and really hindering others. I think we should actually then look to change our distribution of power a little bit more. Even just moving to wealth voting would help a bit. Census suffrage, though, would be fantastic, because then we would get literate pops with extra political strength, and that might be just the change that we need. So it's a little bit radical. It'll take a long time. Oh, our legitimacy is so low. Let's try, in that case, I think, the wealth voting instead. It'll still take a long time, don't get me wrong, but there's a much greater chance that we either advance it or it completely succeeds. And it'll be a good step towards removing the incredible power that's concentrated within a couple of key groups. We still have over nearly 500 subsistence farms, so I'd like to get on top of that in future, of course. Some extra rice or something. Come on, people. Get onto it. But for the time being, of course, we've got kind of bigger fish to fry. I'm going to start with ports so that we can trade properly. Then we'll get those barracks online. They are so quick to build, by the way. It's like 2 weeks each. It's incredible. And then focus some more on our industry. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, great. And you know what? I'm also going to change our taxation system a little bit, I think. It would be really nice to put the grain tax in, although the stress on our authority is quite high. Services is a great moneymaker. Wonder if I remove the liquor tax. That will give me 300. And then, if we play a little maths game, jump in here, stop suppressing you. I know it's unfortunate, but we'll do it for the time being. Then we can crank the government wages back up slightly, tax grain on literally every single person. And then if we can balance out just a couple of other inefficiencies, mainly, of course, it's our constructed goods and diplomatic pacts that are costing us far too much. They're demanding more and more and more as I continue to make more money. We have to fix this. We have to fix this very soon. Let's throw the cat amongst the pigeons and expel their diplomats just to, you know, show them who's boss. The Russians love us, although we can't improve our relations with them at the moment because we just don't have enough interests to reach out to everybody that we want to reach out to. Ah! Let's remove that one and put... Oh, it's really tough. We can bring this one back to get the Russian interest back. Let's do that. Yep. Reason being, we can maybe get a friend out of them. Ooh, back over the other side of the world, and it looks like, probably as expected, the US are taking a big chunk out of Mexico. Probably winning that, although we'll check back on that a little later on, I think. Okay, everybody. We could now start an independence diplomatic play. They are currently fighting the French. We don't have much of an army, but it could be possible. Potential allies out of Britain, Russia, and France, who have massive armies. We don't have a lot yet, though, do we? I think now we move towards really ramping this up, though. I'm going to get an additional... I'm just going to queue up, like, 20. This is going to put, of course, an incredible strain on the industries that are producing these goods. We may scale that back with time, but if I queue up a whole load for the time being, it should be alright. We're going to run some fairly nasty deficits as well. Look at that bouncing around. But if we can free up 15k from the diplomatic plays, all of a sudden, we're going to be making a whole lot of cash money. What it will do to our market access, to be honest, I don't know. I've never left in-game a market this big as a small puppet state. But man alive, that is tempting. And we will consider that next time. Do let me know below if you think I should just push for it right now, or if I should hold off. I'm very tempted to just jump straight in and try for the best, but we'll see how we go. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.